Shindig.
Mission is critical. Got to stand up and say that we can't pay no, pay no.
Yeah, man.
Can't pay.
Look at that. No. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, baby, take it away. Oh, baby, back another day. Get a rise and they get no rise. That's on fire, right before your eyes. Oh, baby, to face that league. Won't break our wing of a week. No, until just be a big, give an antique. Okay, right it, you know the right it. Not so bright it, make life bright it. Roll the dice, Gemini prices, 7 deadly vices. Way of all in flesh, never enough, no break, no rest. Putting ourselves to the test, coming from Bangladesh.
Here comes that news international, announcing the drama quits. I'm gonna backlash to pregnant. Mission is critical. Got to stand up and say that we can't pay, won't pay no.
Respect to you all. Big love. For this one, we're gonna see everyone from the front to the back, left to right. To be bouncing, jumping. I'm in
Hello, so here I am with Chandra. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
And you can say your name.
My name is Leo.
Leo, who is super cute. Are you having a great time at the festival?
Oh yeah.
Do you? So you have just come off stage pretty much the last few minutes. How did it go for you? There seems to be a lot of energy in there.
Yeah, it was really good actually. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Nice, intimate festival. It's really nice to play a stage that size, and that kind of amount of people.
Have you
at a
played?
festival.
Have you played at Shindig before?
No, I don't think we have actually. We've played in this particular site, the whaaaat.
Yeah, whaaaat
The
was
a couple
before.
of times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great site. It's
It
really,
is, actually,
it's
yeah.
compact. I like the circular motion. You can kind of keep
whaaaat,
wandering.
It's actually
Much bigger, yeah.
But I like this compactness as well. It's really good.
Where else are you playing this summer?
Well, tomorrow we're up at Bearded Theory,
Uh-huh.
and then we're going to Manchester Band on the Wall.
Right.
And I think there's an event called, I think, Music Migrations up in Sheffield, and then there's Shambhala, and that's all I can remember right now.
Right, I might see you at Shambhala.
Yeah.
I live very close,
Oh, okay.
and I think I'm going to be there with a few of the guys helping out. And I don't think doing this, but I might see you there. And so, you know, without being rude, you've been around for a while.
Yeah, I know.
You've got a while to go.
I'm the
right?
one. I'm the one that's been here 30 years, actually.
So
I am the survivor.
the OG.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested. What were your musical influences when
my God.
you were running? Like, where did it come from you? We were talking about funk.
You're talking about the
obviously.
band, the Asian Dub Foundation's
Well,
music,
I mean-
or mine in particular.
I mean, yours. Where did yours come from, and then how did that go into the band?
See, when you've racked up this amount of years, it's difficult to know where to start. Well, me personally, okay, this is what I say, actually. I could go on for about an hour about musical influences, but let me tell you about my parents, his grandparents, okay? Their first dates in the 1950s. Their first dates was Ravi Shankar at the Royal Festival Hall in 1958. The first ever performance of classical sitar at the Royal Festival Hall.
Yeah.
Which is a venue where we've played many times, so it has a very special place in my
Yeah,
heart.
wow.
Because that was one of my mum and dad's first dates, and then a week later they went to see Buddy Holly at the London Palladium.
Varied.
rock and roll, Indian classical music, and everything in between. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you talk about Asian Dub Foundation, I mean, there were some big influences on Asian Dub Foundation. Obviously, you see, we actually found something in common. Like I said, you know, I was brought up in Indian classical and Hindustani singing and Qawwali as well, which is Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. He was a genius, right? Really one of the greatest music form, probably the greatest music form and the greatest singer for me. And I didn't know.
I'm going to go and look at that.
Yeah, I didn't. I'll tell you a thing about how we sometimes put stuff together. Now, my dad, he didn't tell me much about music. I just heard it, and there used to be this program every Sunday morning. It was listed as 4 Asian viewers, right? This is in the 70s when I was very small, and it's called Naya Zindagi Naya Jivan, like New Way, New Life. And I had a tape of it, and I kind of worked out a couple of lines from it on guitar. Then we did a song that I kind of wrote the skeleton of a song called New Way, New Life, which had a riff from my dad's tapes.
Right.
And the others came in, and it brilliant. We made it a celebration of growing up in Britain as being Asian, right? But that track itself it had I think a classical Hindustani-folk melody on guitar and a kind of harmonium sound that I created, and then a dub bass line, brilliant jungle dub bass line by Dr. Das, fantastic words by Dr. Das and Dida, the singer, and a jungle breakbeat, and then a reggae breakdown. So you can see that there's the influences for the band, all of it.
Yeah.
So, and the first line, which they came up with, was like, every Sunday morning in front of the TV, recording with a microphone, Naya Zindagi. That's what my dad used to do. Get the old cassette recorder, put it up to the TV, and everyone has to go shh, right? But that's where the genesis of that song came. Then it was filtered through, jungle, dub reggae, and even a bit of 60s psychedelia on that one.
Wow, a lot in there then, packed into all the influences that
Yeah, that's
through,
right.
through
People
your
often say
childhood.
that. People often say that, but I'll tell you, here's another weird story. There's an Italian version of Italy's Got Talent, right?
Right.
And one singer there did an Asian Dub Foundation song, one of the ones we did tonight, Flyover, right?
Okay.
Italy's Got Talent, right? He was actually quite good, the guy, but the dance routine left a lot to be desired.
Right, we are going to have to try and get that. I bet it's on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, if you find it,
we're going to have to try and do that and splice that at the end of this interview, and that will be excellent.
But when the judges, this guy was quite good. He was called Mad, right? And he actually had a really good voice. But the lyrics were they got it off the internet somewhere, and all the lyrics that I wrote for that track, I was so disappointed. It was terrible. It just didn't make any sense at all.
Oh.
Right?
But they must love you.
But when the judges did their... it was translated for me, and they said, "Oh my gosh, it's so brave to do an Asian Dub Foundation because they have so many different influences. It's really difficult music." And I'm going, "Really?" I mean, to us, it's very simple. It's really straightforward. You know what I mean? But I always get surprised when people sort of say, "Oh, there's so many things packed into one." But I mean, all music is that. I mean, if you wanted to break down,
of course,
music forms. I mean, a lot of the influences that go into it. I mean, if you look at something like hip hop, I mean, that's got just as much to do with German avant-garde professors as it has to do. I mean, Stockhausen then went into Kraftwerk, and then Kraftwerk were big influences on early electro beats.
Yeah.
I've seen that because I've seen a lady dress like that era, so I'm thinking about that. So I mean, all these
you need
things
to write a book.
Well, I wrote a music history course.
Well, that is that. But it needs to go into a book that we can all get off the shelves.
Yeah. Well, there is actually...
With pictures,
No, I've actually got breakdowns.
Book.
I've got PowerPoints of all this stuff, actually. Maybe I should put them in some kind of...
Oh, yeah. Do you know, I love listening on Audible to...
Oh, yeah.
They have a series called The Great Courses, and they are lectures about different things, like university lectures, and I love them. I absolutely love listening to those, you know, pockets of history or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm big on that.
Yeah, get in touch with Audible.
You probably worked it out.
You need to do things. So
Oh,
before,
yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
yes, that would be. And you doing the, you know, the lecture.
I would love to. Yeah, I missed it. I did it for 11 years. See, because it's another thing about the band that's very different. We all came together as part of a community education project. The band was a community education project.
Right.
That's
so
where
originally.
I did the course. That's where I wrote the course. That's who I wrote the course for.
Right.
You know, and you know, so even though we have a lot in common, you know, in terms of our history, you know, South Asian, you know, Indian, Pakistani, you know, Bangladeshi, Punjabi, we've had all that in the music. We are actually quite different ages, quite different backgrounds.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Within that, we're actually very diverse.
Yeah,
see.
and with
that's
that,
because we started as a community education project. It wasn't a group of mates coming together at college or whatever. It was actually the political and social and educational element was absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
And I hope still is.
Yeah, absolutely. And our Global Funk Fam, we're a music community, you know, there's a collective of DJs that we came together in COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically, you know, nobody could gig anymore. So loads of DJs went onto Twitch and just in their bedrooms and could still do what they loved. And then that's how we all met each other.
That's great.
And now we are, you know,
That's
over
great.
120 DJs around
Lovely.
the world, and it's about that. And we've got real life friendships. You know, I met these guys here 2 years ago, probably now in real life for the first time.
COVID era had something. He said he wanted to do a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
About animal facts during COVID, and he's still doing it. It's been quite successful.
You still do it now?
Yeah.
Right, tell us.
Leo's Animal Planet.
Yeah, tell us what your YouTube is.
Right. So we talk about like animal facts, and the threats they face. We also talk about anything to do with like nature. And I have one question for you.
Oh, really?
Oh, do you want to take the mic to do it officially? You be the interviewer. Go on.
He does a lot.
I'll sit back.
Why did you not mention the reason why you even started playing guitar in the first place?
I don't know. Did I tell you?
No.
Why did I start playing guitar? It was just hanging around, basically. I'll tell you what happened. Because I really wanted to be a science fiction writer. That was my first thing. Right?
Wow, okay.
And I used to write long stories of science fiction. And I think my brother left a guitar around. And when I started getting into music, I only bought records which had something spacey or something sci-fi about it. I didn't care what it was.
Right.
So one of the first records was David Bowie's Space Oddity.
That was the first thing that comes to most people's
it
minds
was.
if you say space.
And I used to sit and listen to all that weird fade out.
Right.
Another thing Good Vibrations. Yeah.
Yes.
Good Vibrations I bought as well. And when
Okay.
it was these are all re-releases, and even the Small Faces in Chiku Park.
Oh.
It has this drum thing.
Did it?
I didn't know what it
love
was.
that track.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was, but it just sounded like a rocket launching, and I thought, wow. And then I found out that there was a guitar around, and then my dad got me an electric guitar, and then he got me a PA stolen from the factory he worked with, and I realised that I could actually make all these sounds, and I didn't have to write about it.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, that's it. Hence Chandrasonic, and a lot of those sounds that I make are quite sort of
Yeah,
echoey
and
deep.
do you still...
Dub, you know, dub reggae. There's, you know, it was all kind of like trying to evoke this science fiction space world in my head.
As you say that, I understand what you're saying. That
Yeah.
it's the sonic landscape
Yeah,
of
yeah, all that,
space,
yeah.
that it's deep and
And but at the same
I-
time, ADF is very grassroots and very sort of rough and street level as well.
Yeah.
But you see, dub allows me to do that space. The dub elements of the band allows me to explore those sounds and soundscapes. You know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
before we go, one last question for you. Who do you rate now, like new upcoming artists or a band that you've maybe listened to in the last few months or
well,
seen?
here's where I have a senior moment, because there's actually loads of music, but I can't remember what the names are. I mean, okay, there is lots of stuff. There's a great Moroccan group with a girl lead singer, and they play the what are those Moroccan instruments called? With the rubber strings. But anyway, there's a band that does that, and they electrify them, and they play, and they're really exciting. But I can't remember the name.
Drill artists?
Pardon?
Any drill artists?
Well,
Any
I
drill?
really like the sound of UK drill. I think it's actually been under because of all the moral panic around it. Because of all the moral panic around it, I think people didn't realise actually how interesting that music was, because it was very atmospheric, and the bass is even kind of like, it was kind of a new direction, because it's just all about that sonic, and it was almost like a different way of writing bass lines, and it was always like this sort of like anticipating kind of music, very soundtracky, something about to happen, usually something violent, and I think that actually there's a lot of interesting things that could be built upon it.
Well, that is it. That in a few years there will be influences.
I think it's already happening.
Drill has influenced this,
I mean,
whatever
that
we
guy,
call it.
Leo introduced me to that guy. Was it Jay Cactus? It was quite an interesting guy. I don't know what I'd say.
He uses Fruity Loops, J Cactus.
Yeah,
and
basically, I got him Fruity Loops, and he's learning from this guy. And it's quite interesting. He's like, right, I'm going to do an Ethiopian drill track, and he shows you how to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And this is all very interesting. I think music is great. I think music's great now. I cannot stand people my age go, it's not as good as in my day. oh dear, but all the kids are missing out on having to turn a vinyl album over at the end. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
So,
there's so many people out there creating music.
There always will be, and there always has been.
You've just got to find it and look for it.
It's anti-youth to say there's no good music or whatever now. It really is. I mean, I'll tell you a really great thing that happened in that class, right, is that when I showed a lot of the people in my class...
I love it. I saw Nia Archives in...
She went to the class.
Yes, she did. I didn't know what she was called there, but Nia Archives was in my class.
Oh my
I
gosh!
didn't really know. I don't know how many she turned up to.
Oh yeah,
but she's brilliant.
Yeah,
now,
I saw in Brixton.
There's a great artist.
Just the other week.
Nia Archives has done some wonderful. That's the beautiful song that she did. I can't remember what it's called.
I'm no good with names and all of them. Her new one's just been playing as well.
What's really interesting is the women's input into the jungle revival is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because they got a different take on it. Like that one of the tracks she did is so intimate, right? And then there a couple of tracks by Pink Pantheress as well.
Okay.
Who did some, and it was like she did this jungle tracks, and it was like a kind of like, you know, a girl's diary. And really sort of in your ear.
Right.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So there's been some interesting revitalizations of jungle,
Oh,
mainly by women, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our DJs, Towley, who was playing on the sub bus today, he's really into jungle. He produces a few little bits of his own, and we had a conversation about 18 months ago, saying they're playing a lot more jungle on Six Music. It was like it's coming. It feels, and now it's a lot more mainstream.
Well, I mean, basically, jungle was one of the fundamental elements of the band, as you probably heard. You know? And it does. I think it is actually a permanently great bass. You know, basses. There's so much you can do with it, and first time round. Not everything was done with it. We had a pretty radical variation on it. A live band with electric guitar and with the South Asian stuff and the militant vocals. You know, I mean, it was the last great music that was really fast. I mean, it's got the half speed. There hasn't been a music form since jungle that's been that tempo. And now I am making the distinction. This was really interesting because Nia Archives, and I think someone who knows her well, she was in my class too. She was quite radical about it. She was saying, well, drum and bass was the gentrification of jungle. My jaw dropped. I'm going, blimey. It's like when you look back historically, things become starker. And when you listen to, say, the more kind of like, I remember when it went from jungle, then there was ambient jungle, then there was intelligent jungle,
Yeah.
right, which is a terrible way. And then it became drum and bass, you know.
Yeah.
And then we had Goldie. I mean, nothing against him; he's brilliant. But you know, it's very well produced stuff.
Yeah, it
Very-
is changed.
Very
yeah.
kind of high quality and stuff.
Yeah.
And they kind of looked down. I remember going to a club and saying, "It's not jungle, it's drum and bass. We don't play jungle here." You know, it was like that initial kind of punky, rootsy, rise up feel that the
Yeah.
original Jump Up Jungle has. Got, like a lot of things, turned into something else. It's not all bad at all. I mean, Ronnie Size did some brilliant stuff with that, you know, with the jazz influence, stuff like that. But it's like, when you look back on it, as this woman in my class did, she said, well, you know, I can hear the big difference, and it's like one is very kind of like a kind of polishing up of a music,
yeah.
and then the other is real kind of tough, and it's that tougher edge of jungle
Yeah.
that's kind of come back, I
Yes,
think, and
yeah.
I welcome it. I'm not usually into revivals, but I heard when I heard Nia Archives and some of Pink Pantheress's stuff and some other stuff that I don't
Yeah,
know,
there's
there was
a
some
few of
interesting variations that weren't done first time round.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, it has been so interesting to speak to you. I think we could speak for about another hour, but I'm sure you want to go
No,
and.
I'm fine. I'll talk. I'll talk you.
You know,
Talk you into the ground.
Well, I bet you want
He
to
knows
go.
it. Look, he
yeah,
knows.
tell them about the song with like your favorite dub, like a bass line, like with like
Oh,
the
the one I'm
lyrics.
trying to teach you. Yeah.
The Shine on Me.
Oh,
that one.
Jar Shine on Me by Al Campbell with a dub remix by Linval Thompson.
Okay, so we need to go and check that out as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
All these things.
Yeah.
And if people don't know you, where should they go? Your
Well, all the normal
socials,
places,
all
right,
the things.
yeah.
Search
Spotify's
for
pretty
you.
Spotify, and then check me out. Search up Leo's on Planet Rewild. I post my own songs and my own podcast.
There we go. What an absolute plug. You're such a legend. I think do you want to be a musician? Is that
I play bass and I sing.
He's got a band already. Actually.
Yeah, I've got a band.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So he's going to be, do you dance as well?
Oh yeah.
He was
Yeah,
on
I
stage.
was
Oh,
dancing-
yeah,
I was dancing on stage.
So
I do a hip hop dance class. Oh, I
Okay.
used to.
So you're a triple threat or even a quadruple threat. You're going to be doing all sorts of things when you're bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Pleasure. That's one
Have
of the best interviews I've ever
And I'll
done
use.
ever.
And,
Oh,
It really is, yeah.
yes.
and when I'm making my music in the future, I'm using Fruity Loops, and I'm not going back to the old days with Logic.
There you go. You see, he's already pulling me up.
I
Your
hate
old-fashioned
Logic.
dad, yeah.
How do you even program jungle beats on Logic? You've never shown me.
Well, okay.
You
all
can't.
right. Yeah, that's right. Show me up in front of the audience.
I tell you what, in a moment we're going to cut this camera and this man here, we've got MGEX, these guys are DJs, and he's going to give you a go on this. All right then. Bye guys, thanks very much.
Hey, thanks. That was amazing.
Bye.
Cheers.
Shindig